negative on earnings and the SPY was up 1% today, I would have bet a lot of money against you on that one. But here we are, up a full 1%. What do you think of this market right now? Either one of you can take that, by the way.
I'll let Jamie kick it off.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I was just getting some charts done while you were introducing Good Morning and TGIF and the golden age is here.
So I think what you're saying in short, Jamie, is all in. We're making all-time highs any moment. Leverage everything, mortgage the house, call options. Let's go. Now is the time. I just want to make sure I'm totally hearing you
Yeah,
correctly.
and that's exactly the contrarian in me says run for hills. So when you
Exactly.
were when
Exactly.
you asked me to prepare a couple ideas for this morning, of course they're going to be on the short side, Nate.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind that right now. And actually, I'm going to talk about a key level that I think is an opportunity. Before I kick into some nuts and bolts of stuff that I want to cover today, Stephen, I asked you to jump on. I figured being a little more outside the Nate bubble, you're probably seeing more customer responses and feedback in some of the other sessions and things like that. What's your take, I guess, kind of on the retail spirit right now? Are people as optimistic as the market feels right now?
I think we're getting there. I don't think we're all the way there yet. I think you mentioned it, whatever it was, Tuesday or Wednesday, that the GDP numbers came out. I think that was a big day because that was genuinely really bad economic news. And if traders have been looking for a reason to, sell, run for the hills, as we're talking about, that would have certainly been it. And they didn't do it, and they ultimately forced the market to rally by the end of the day. So I think that was a huge sign. The people that we're talking to in webinars and things like that, they're still uncertain. Obviously, March and April were very hard. And, because so many traders are new to this, myself included, so I'm not judging anyone when I say that. There's just people haven't dealt with what we saw in March and April before, in many cases. So they don't really know what to expect, which is why I'm excited about some of what we're going to cover here today. But I think the optimism is recovering a little bit, obviously, with that. Everyone kind of has that knowledge that Washington could drop a metaphorical bomb at any point and, add new chaos into everything.
Well, they could drop some literal bombs that
They
add new
could do that
chaos
as
as
well.
as
Yeah.
well. Either type is technically on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're reading from my notes a little bit here because a lot of times I like to position how I look at the market as are people looking for reasons to sell or reasons to buy?
Yeah, I definitely feel
Like when things are really going well, they're basically any nugget they can cling on to as a reason to be optimistic and buy. They'll do that. I think we saw that obviously all the way from COVID through the end of 2021. Then it flipped, and anything was a reason to sell, and then it flipped again, and anything was a reason to buy. And so for me, a lot of times in those environments, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, exactly what you said. When you get really negative news, that's sometimes to me the best indication. Is that a reason that people are doubling down on being negative, or are they actually saying, enough's enough. Even with the negative news, I'm not afraid to step in with a little volume and liquidity here. Now, with that said, one big asterisk here. We have not seen institutional insider buying fully step in. It's still actually pretty low right now. It's not institutional selling. We're not seeing the opposite. We're not seeing people disappear and yank liquidity out of the market, but we're also not seeing huge steps in a volume. So we're not quite at the tipping point from an institutional side. But we are seeing, I think, more optimism than a lot of people expected. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today. Also, kind of a couple key levels here as we go through. By the way, Steven has pulled together a Saturday roundtable session for the first Saturday of every month. I'm sure many of you guys were at that last month, but just a quick reminder because that happens to be tomorrow. Steven, who's on tomorrow with you?
we have Alex Reed, we have Lance Ippolito, and Chris Pulver all joining us tomorrow. I'm really excited.
Nice. Okay. So those sessions are going to be every first Saturday just to kind of give people, and it'll rotate. Me and Jamie will be on some of those sessions. Tom and Roger will be on some of those sessions where you're going to get a little bit of a preview of what they see in the market coming, very tactical, very action oriented. So is that 10 a.m. tomorrow?
It is 10. We're shooting for 11 most months, but we messed with the schedule a little bit this week. I'll claim responsibility for that. So 10 a.m. tomorrow.
All right. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, just so you guys know, that's going to be one of those roundtable sessions. All right. Let me get into the nuts and bolts, and then we will circle back to you gentlemen here shortly. So first of all, we had two income machine plays this week that you guys should have on the docket here. Maybe you traded them live. Maybe you're just watching them. XLI closing above 132 today will generate a 42% ROI. We're at 134. I mean, XLI ripped yesterday and today, so this one looks about as safe. I mean, nothing in trading is safe, but about as safe to close above 132 here at the end of the day here for some nice income from the income machine. So we salute you, income machine. Thank you for that. We also have XLF above 48, which also ripped. XLF is now almost 4% on the underlying clear of our line in the sand here for some extra income there. That one was a little bit smaller. We only went for 18% on a relatively safe income play there. But XLI, XLF, two income machine winners. Excited to tell you more about how the income machine actually works. But for now, you got some free trades and some free money, hopefully, by taking those. Next, I want to talk about the market overview. I'm not going to go super deep in the weeds here, but just quickly, let's look at the S&P because they called me crazy is my tagline here for the S&P. I said I think we're going back to the April 2 liberation market close, and I think we're going to get there sooner than people think. I don't even have today's bar, which is, let me just look. I mean, it's above it now. Let me just pull it up real quick because I took this before the market opened today. Yeah, folks, we are officially, now I can say it with certainty, officially above the April 2 close of market liberation day before tariffs announced on the S&P 500, which when I said this, I got a lot of flack, probably more flack than anything I've ever said, I feel like publicly, when I said, listen, we're going back to the April 2 number, and I think we're going there quicker than people realize. Well, folks, we are there today above the April 2 liberation day number. Now, that's great news because it means the market has been more optimistic and more bullish than a lot of people thought. The flip side of that, the other side of the coin, which Jamie might give you some other side of the coin trades here in a moment, is that's probably too good of news. We probably shouldn't be above the April 2 Liberation Day market close as quickly as we are. Let's keep in mind, right now, there's a lot of tariff stuff still up in the air. Now, again, I don't want to get too far in the weeds today because there's lots of time to cover this, but I'm one of those people who don't believe that the entire drop here is just a tariff drop. I mean, I certainly do think it's a news-driven tariff drop predominantly. I think that was the catalyst that we saw the market go down. But I think there's more at play here going on. And right now, we don't even have a resolution on all of these tariff questions. And we are above the tariff announcement. So we've probably got a little overheated here, if you ask me. And I guess my biggest concern, if I were to bottle it up and say my biggest concern here, is I would say retail is probably getting sucked too quickly into this kind of excitement. And when you get all that retail money jumping back to the market, leveraging, saying, hey, we're good to go, put the turbocharger on, throw the call options on, it's just too easy for the market to flush that back out. So for me, this is a tale of two stories. One, I'm optimistic and I'm excited that we're above these levels. This is what I've been calling for. I'm a pretty bullish trader overall, so I love it. And I think if we break through this level, dare I say, we could be on our way to all-time highs. I mean, that's how prominent I think this level is. On the flip side, I just have that little bird in the back of my head saying, man, this happened pretty quick with some ugly prints along the way, a lot of tariff news that has not been solidified, and a whole bunch of retail traders jumping all in on this optimism. Now we have lots of earnings that have been hitting, some really positive. And so I think we just have to be very careful. So what I'm going to say to you guys is I'm still trading all the mechanical systems that I would. You guys know how I operate. If I get a trigger, swing the bat, the mechanical system fires, I'm going to follow the edge. However, on the more discretionary, and especially on the medium-term stuff, I'd really like to see what next week does, because this week is going to close right around this decision point, somewhere within a couple dollars of this 564 decision point. So I'd really like to wait and see what next week looks like before I get a stronger degree of confidence in either direction from a discretionary side. So that's kind of my suggestion to you guys. Do the hardest thing there is to do in trading and be 1 week more patient than you'd like to be, and see what next week looks like, because we're going to close right around the decision point this week. That said, couple stocks that I like right now that I think are in pretty good situations. Again, grain of salt. Look at what the broad market's doing, all of that kind of stuff. T-Mobile is one we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's a stock I like. It's a stock that I think got overbeaten down on actually pretty good numbers here. T-Mobile, I think fundamentally is a fairly strong stock. I think technically is in this range, has this gap, and has also already rebounded. Now, little sneak peek here from our dear friend JD, who's on the call. I'm telling you, I like this stock right now. JD told me that he liked this stock literally on the close of this red bar here, which was about 230. So we're already up about 8% on the stock since he liked this stock a couple days earlier. And he also got this little green diamond on his charts, which basically are a telltale sign that you should be long on the next candle here. Like I said, up about 7%. The options on T-Mobile there are up about 100% since this fire. Now, I'm not going to tell you all about this green diamond today, because that would be a much deeper, longer discussion. But what I will tell you, and I'll give you a quick backstory, because that's not what the point of today's opening playbook is. The reason JD's even on this call and even joining us for some of these sessions is because this green diamond means a lot. It's not a technical pattern in and of itself that you would typically find, or that you can typically find. There's an entire story behind this that we're going to unwrap for you guys in the next couple of weeks that has me about as excited as anything else that I've ever done. And that includes, a lot of the guys that I've dealt with, Lance and Roger and Tom, and all those guys. This is something that I think you'll find is truly, truly unique in a way that is differently unique than other unique things that we'll be unwrapping for you in the next couple weeks. But for now, I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek on this. And by the way, if you take a look at the last green diamond, also a pretty nice triple figure opportunity there on T-Mobile, just to throw that out there as a bonus thought. So anyway, T-Mobile I like, but also the green diamond likes it. And you'll learn a little bit more about why that green diamond means a whole lot more than just a technical chart pattern that you'd find, in any other situation. So I'll leave it at that for right now. But JD, you and I will be talking about the green diamond a lot more in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm very. I have visions of the Emerald City, Nathan, and
Yeah.
as long as we don't get picked off by those flying monkeys, everything will be good.
There you go. There you go. The green diamond, the Emerald City, and the flying monkeys, it's all going to come together here in a matter of weeks. Another stock that I like potentially is Amazon. Now, Amazon, I might like as a short, but I think I might like it as a long if we get above this 192. This is a huge level on Amazon. You can see this is a daily chart. This level, it's gapped in, it's gapped on. That post-Liberation Day tariff pause stopped on the dime on Amazon on 192 earnings, hit it, bounced down. I think we're right back above it right now. I haven't looked at the charts since pre-market, but right around this 192 level. So Amazon could be a short, but I think I'll like it as a long if we get above this 192 level here. You might even want to call it 195, which requires another full percent there, but it's a little bit safer whole number there, because 195 to 205, this box right here on Amazon, I think is a nice clean move for it to make from 195 to 205, which is like a 5% move on the stock. So I like Amazon potentially, but I'd wait for some more confirmation there. To me, Amazon falls in that category of it's not a perfect stock. There's some things that make me nervous about Amazon, tariffs and otherwise, but it's also a stock that is hard to find a true competitor. It's hard to, until some of these Chinese companies like Temu and the others truly step in and take market share, which I personally think they're a little ways away from doing that, people go to Amazon. I mean, that's just what they do. Now, with that said, drum roll please, you've also heard me say, going back all the way to 2023, that I don't believe Amazon is the best US retailer. I think the guard has changed, which is a big, bold claim. Maybe the one I've got the second most flack about since my April 2. I think another business is actually a better business, and it's Walmart. Now, again, bold claim. I'm certainly in the super minority to say that Walmart is a better business than Amazon, and you can chalk it up to foolish youthfulness or whatever else you want, and never listen to me again on this. But since I've called my shot on Walmart, it has dominated Amazon over the last 18 months. And right now, I still love it to make new all-time highs above 105. Now, the reason that I like Walmart so very much is because I think it fills the gap of consumer staples and still building out consumer discretionary. I think it fills that gap better than any other business right now. I mean, you could take its cousin Costco and put that in the same category, of course, Walmart and Costco. But I personally think it fills that gap better than any other business on the planet right now, where people are buying consumer staples and even more so buying consumer staples when the economy shrinks and is challenging at Walmart than almost anywhere else. While at the same time, they've done an incredible job of building out their online business. If you right now you go Google stuff like, I want to buy a baseball bat. It used to be you'd find all the online baseball bat shops and you'd find Amazon. Well, now Walmart's going to be right there at the top of that list. They've done an incredible job of building their online presence and being an Amazon while also still being a Walmart. That's why I've liked them for the last 18 months. I think they're such a robust business. And I think the advantage that they have is, let's say we do get a double dip on this kind of recessionary pressure. Well, Walmart's going to handle that a lot better than pretty much any other retailer, in my opinion. And so Walmart is still on my list. I do the stacking trade on this. If you guys know what I'm talking about when I say the stacking trade, that's where if it goes down, I just stack longer term debit spreads and look for it to make a move. And I use targets. That's in my Investing 2.0 strategy guide if you ever want to go through that. But that's one of the strategies I use on Walmart.
Nathan, let me chime in just for 2 seconds here. I know
by all means,
it's your show, but the teaser of the Emerald Diamond, one of the well, if not the main driver of that indicator is grounded in fundamental research. And the market, obviously, there are 6,000 plus publicly traded stocks. And within that universe, you can identify using some really proprietary metrics to identify what we call the highest rated stocks that fit our criteria for being long on those stocks. As you talked about Walmart, all I kept thinking about was ringing the bell, right? Because your Walmart, just not to give too much away, but fits that criteria of being a highly rated stock. So just wanted to add that.
Yeah, well, and no surprise in my view, because it really is one of the most fundamentally sound businesses on planet Earth right now, and you could probably pull it into the category of some of those consumer staples that got a little overheated in 2024. Some of the boring businesses got a little overheated there in 2024. Costco, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, some of those. But I think the little flush we had in March and April is more than enough to kind of reset it and give it the opportunity to go to higher highs. It's just such a good business. So for me, you guys know I love Walmart. I've been trading it super aggressively since 2023. It's treated me very well, and I'm going to continue to do that. Steven says Walmart is also huge in the Mennonite community, which, 2x, 3x the value of the stock just based on that inside research from Steven right there alone. Now, another stock that has treated me incredibly well is GLD. Another stock that I call it a stock. It's just a gold ETF, but one that I continue to stack positions on since 2023, and I believe is my single most profitable ticker since fall of 2023. when I first started putting those trades out. Now, I love gold, but I do think gold has a potential flush scenario. Now, I'm going to keep stacking it, by the way, because I don't really care if it has a flush. I'm going to keep stacking those positions. The way they work is that I don't care if I get a flush. I'll keep stacking, and it's all part of the plan. But I think what's going to happen very likely, whether it's now or 6 weeks from now or 6 months from now, is that gold is going to have to take the hit of the retail frenzy being optimistic means gold can't keep doing what it's doing. That's going to come to a crossroads here at some point, I think. And so gold's probably going to have a flush here again, 6 weeks, 6 months, today. I don't know. Well, maybe today because it's already down this week, 4%. But I would keep an eye on this 270, 275 range for a pretty deep flush. Now, that's only like 6, 7%. So for gold, 6, 7% is a big flush. But I don't really think that matters because gold is still actually pretty early in the cut right cycle. So I still think GLD can go to 400 over the next 2 years. But I think some of the short-term flushes could be on the horizon just because it's going to have to square that idea of kind of the retail optimistic frenzy. If we keep getting that, if the S&P makes a big breakout, looks like it's going to all-time highs, it's going to be hard for GLD to maintain that kind of optimism and bullishness at the same time. So we'll see. Now, that being said, no guarantee GLD/gold has had higher highs while the S&P has made higher highs. That has definitely happened in the past and could certainly happen again. And it might actually be a good scenario for it because we're in an interest rate cut environment, granted going slower than certain people predicted, but we could certainly see that happen. I just think the more likely scenario is that we get a deeper flush here in the next little while if the optimism and the retail frenzy is as aggressive as it looks right now. So there you have it, guys. T-Mobile, a gap fill here opportunity. Walmart, a potential breakout to all-time highs. Amazon, if we get a break above, especially 195, I really like it into the 205 range. And then my dear friend GLD, still stacking, but watch for a flush. If we do get a flush, I'm going to get even more aggressive on GLD, and I like all of those opportunities. A couple reminders before we get to our next session. All my members, don't forget, you can email me directly. Make sure you're in my Telegram. That's always going to be the best way to get the most updated, things that I send, opportunities, stuff like that. And then I'll post this link one more time for those of you who still aren't on the text list. Jump in there. You get my text, my stock of the day every day directly to your SMS as well if you're on that list. Okay, so a couple reminders that I try to give you in each opening playbook session. Now, one more thing that I try not to do a whole lot in these kind of sessions, which is, pat myself on the back too hard. But I'm going to do a shameless one here for you guys one time today because we really are on an absolute roll here with overnight options, 9 wins in a row, automated options, 4 wins in a row, weekend options, 3 for 3, profit pairs, 6 wins in a row. We do have 2 open that are not, they're down a little bit, but we have till June on those. Jump trades, 3 wins in a row. I put an asterisk there. Well, at the time, Reddit was at $143 a share. So we might be 2 for 3 on jump trades after today and not 3 in a row. I thought I was safe to say 3 in a row. I put the asterisk there because, we had Reddit at $143 a share. It dropped $28 a share or whatever overnight. So we'll have to wait on that one. We might be 2 for 3 and not 3 in a row there on jump trades. And then 2 wins in a row as well. So the reason that I'm doing this shameless, hey guys, look how good we're doing moment here is because I was getting a little jealous. I was seeing Roger and Lance post all these testimonials from people who were sending them emails about all the money they were making. And I was thinking, wait a minute, why am I not able to get that many testimonials? Maybe I just need to tell people, hey, send me emails. Tell me if you're making money so that I can share as much feedback as they've been sharing. So that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. If you guys are making money from 9 wins in a row, 4 wins in a row, 3 wins in a row, send me an email. Let me know. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to post your stories in Telegram and other places. I would love to have that kind of feedback. I'll also have Jared on our team send a little survey out today for you guys. If you don't mind taking a minute and letting me know how you're doing, because to be honest, as much fun as I'm having with all this, it doesn't really matter if you guys aren't seeing the same results. I mean, that's the whole point of what I'm doing here, sharing this publicly, is that you guys are getting these same kind of results and winning trades. And so I'd love to hear from you. Again, apologize for my 3-minute, shameless pat on the back here. But I'd love to hear from you guys. I'll send out a survey, but also just email me. Give me the the brass tacks on how you all are doing. Now, one of the 4 wins that we had on automated options was Costco, which closed this morning at market open. So what I'm going to do here is a little Costco Pop Quiz. I want to see how well you guys are paying attention to these sessions, because our Wednesday training was all about why I don't use stop losses and how the risk reward dynamic changes on these kinds of trades. And yes, I do realize I've already gone 30 minutes. Give me 5 more, and then we'll get into a couple other pieces here. But this yellow line is the entry on Costco. This yellow line is our exit. In other words, or not our exit, but the expiration at the end of the day today. As you can see, our entry here on Costco was pretty horrible timing. It literally dropped like 4%. Well, no, 2%. I forget how far it dropped. Well, here it is, 945. Yeah, so about 5%. It dropped here within like 2 days of our Costco entry. And I got all the same questions that I always get when this happens. Uh-oh, Nate, we're down 40%. We're down 60% on the trade. Should we exit? Should we get out of this trade? And my answer is no. You should wait and see if it can expire above our line in the sand here, because that's the whole advantage of trading in this structure. So we were down 60% here. We were down about 70% here, I think, toward the end of last week. Okay, so the reason I call this a pop quiz is because I'm just curious how many of you in the chat can answer this question correctly, which is when we're down on this trade, Costco's at 970, we needed to close above $1,005. The question is not, are we likely to win this trade? The question is very different. Who in the chat can give me the answer, the proper question that we need to be asking ourselves when this trade is down 70%? So let's say you're like me and you had like 2K in the trade, right? So you have 2K in the trade. You're down, let's say, $1,500 to make the number easy. So you have $500 left of value on the trade at this particular time. Let's call it around Friday. I don't remember the exact numbers. Christine got it. Mike got it. Anyone else? I'll give you 30 more seconds to see if anyone else knows the answer that we covered on Wednesday. What is the question that you ask yourself here? Because it's no longer, do I think I'm going to win the trade? It's a different dynamic. Anyone else? Christine, Mike, you guys you get gold stars here. I'll give you 20 more seconds to see if anyone else. All right, so the question is, and Christine and Mike, you were first on the jump here, is what is the new risk to reward scenario from this point in the trade? Okay, so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the entire Wednesday session, because I think it's one of the most important things you can ever learn about how to trade, especially the way that I trade with typically debit spreads. Where we were at this point in the trade matters zero right now, guys. And this is a problem that most retail traders make. They think about, oh, our trade's not working out, or I'm down. Is the trade still going to win? Doesn't matter whatsoever. What matters is the new risk to reward scenario at the current point. You reassess it every day, every minute of whether you should stay in this trade. You're no longer risking 2K to make 1K in this situation. The new situation is you're risking 500 to make 2,500. That's the new risk to reward you're presented with at this point in the trade, because you only have $500 left of liquidity on that trade. So you can only risk 500 from this point in the trade. The 2K risk no longer matters. You have $500 of profit left on the trade, or not profit, but of risk left on the trade. And if it closes above $1,005, it'll close for about a $2,500 trade, or actually about a $3,000 win. So your risk to reward dynamic is now completely different at the current decision point in the trade versus what it was at the beginning of the trade. So the simple answer, and again, go back Wednesday, watch the entire session. Hopefully it'll make more sense. But the entire question that you have to ask yourself is it worth keeping the trade on based on my new risk reward dynamic? For me, the answer is almost always yes, based on the way we set up these trades. And Costco is a great example of that. Overnight options on the example I gave Wednesday was a great example of that as well. It finished, we hit our target, and we won on a trade that could have been a loser if you were just asking the question, is the trade likely to win? Because the answer is no, the trade was not likely to win on Friday. But that's not the question. The question is it more likely to win than a 5-to-1 or 6-to-1 risk reward ratio? JD will appreciate this because when he and I first talked, he talked about kind of the pot odds idea. That's how you look at a trade. If you have a high degree of losing the trade, that's only one piece of data. You also need to know what's your risk to reward of if you win the trade. In this case, if you ask me on Friday, is Costco likely to win? I would say no. But if you ask me, does Costco have more than a 20% chance of winning? I would say yes. And that's where the risk reward and the probabilities meet. And it's really important to understand making your decision. If that was over your head and it went too fast, go back and watch the Wednesday session. I think it's a super important one to understand. And it answers the question that most people ask me, which is, Nate, why don't you use stop losses? Why don't you take early exits? That's the answer. Okay. One more thing. Sorry, I'm 35 minutes in here, and we have one more thing to cover, which is our free weekend trade idea. And then I'm going to open up the floor to JD to give a few ideas he likes as well. And then we'll try to wrap up in a timely manner here around 10:50 or so, because we're also going to be giving you one more chance at Auto Strike before the end of the day as well. Okay, so the free weekend trade here is on IBIT. That's the Bitcoin ETF. IBIT has somehow turned into the most volatile stock in the world to one of the more stable stocks over the last month. Bitcoin has been incredibly resilient. It's acted like gold and been, steady when the market's been red. It's acted like Apple and been green when the market's up. It's just been very, very resilient. Does that mean it's a guarantee of being resilient next week? Of course not. But this is a trade I like because you can get about 150% ROI if IBIT moves 1.7%. So you're getting close to 100x the underlying performance on this spread here. So let me go ahead and post this in the chat for everyone. If you like the free weekend trade, you can take it. The way that you do it is you buy to open the May 9th 55 call. You sell to open the May 9th 56 call. That's called a buy vertical or a bullish debit spread. You should be able to get in for about 44 cents on that. And the max value there is $1. Okay. So for that, you can get in for about 150% ROI there on IBIT if you get a close above 56. How do you know where you need IBIT to go? Really simple. The one that you're selling, the call that you're selling, tells you what your line in the sand is. So if you want to know how does this trade work, well, it needs to close above this number right here on this expiration date right here. Another reason I love debit spreads, you know exactly what you're trading as soon as you hit the button. On this date, I need to close above this level. That's how I realize a full profit potential. And IBIT has been one of my favorite ones to trade. This is one that you can set a target on if you want, guys. You guys know I love my GTC targets. That's a good till cancel. That means you set a limit order. So if IBIT gets a big pop, well, then you know that you're going to get closed out early. You don't even have to wait for that Friday expiration to hit your target. So this is a debit. You can see pay debit, 44 cents. You're paying. You're asking for a credit to get more out of the trade if it closes out above this 56 level. Or like I said, you can put a target on it, but I'm going to go ahead and let it expire if I can for a full 150% gain. I'll post this in the chat one more time for you guys, and I'll go for the full 150% ROI on this by letting it expire. If you guys want to set a target, I'd recommend going for about half of that, right? So 150% is it expires, you get the full profit. If you go for a target, around 75% ROI. So what's that? About 72 cents? I don't know. My mental math's not good here, but we can pull up the calculator. Here you go. Let's just do this the old school way. If you want to go for 75%, You just take 44, you multiply that by 1.75, 77 cents would be your target for a 75% ROI if you want to do that. All right. I haven't looked at this, by the way, since 9:31 a.m. We're over an hour later, so I'm not exactly sure if this price is still at 44 cents. You might even have to move it up a strike or down a strike if it's moved. That's that's one of the downsides of opening playbook. I'm prepping ahead of time, and then I don't actually get to look at the charts immediately when we're there, but in that range. Okay, so it's around 50 cents. So that you could either do the 50 cent, that'll drop your ROI potential to 100% because you'll pay 50, you'll get 50, or you could bump your strikes up to 56, 57 and get more of an ROI. Up to you. Either way, the trade will function. All right, guys, and I have gone on 40 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Sorry, JD, I left you hanging here longer than I thought, but I wanted to get your thoughts. I know you said right now you're a little more contrarian, kind of what we talked about at the beginning with how overstimulated this market looks. You want to break down kind of just your general thoughts, and then I know you have one ticker that you like that you think you could be as aggressive enough to go ahead and play the put side on.
Yeah, thank you. And Nathan, you didn't leave me hanging at all. Boy, just for the audience out there, I learned so much from Nathan's trading and how he goes about things. I am relatively new here to the audience. But I've been around the block a few times, and I can tell you that what Nathan's doing here is, kudos. You do such a great job. So folks should be getting a lot of value from what you're doing here. And now I won't pat myself on the back, but I'll do a shameless plug. Nathan's been having me furiously work behind the scenes, writing an electronic book about what I'm all about, and specifically something I call the 4 pillars of rational trading. So that ebook is going to be available at some point, I assume in the near future.
Yeah, I think they can actually get it now. Let me see. Let me see if I have a link for it here.
Okay.
I think we get it now.
So the 4 pillars of rational trading is my go-to foundation for determining my macro views, and specifically there are two parts, 2 pillars that I'll just mention here right now. One is the moving averages. With the tariff tsunami, you had the major market indexes, the 50-day moving average and the 200 moving average, they have crossed. And so yesterday we did close above the 50-day moving average for the S&P, and we now are in this, what I would call an air pocket that at minimum within this little pocket between the 50-day and the 200 moving day is going to be bumpy at best. Yeah. And at worst, it's going to act as a ceiling that we bump up against and most likely retreat from here. The other pillar that I would have folks pay attention to is the volatility index. We are down. The volatility index is down significantly, but we are still above 20 on the volatility index, and that in and of itself is something I would be just naturally concerned about here. So, put it all together in my universe, Nathan, and I would say I'm cautious. Now, on an individual stock basis, the name I want to focus on is Microsoft, and Microsoft had a really nice pop yesterday after its earnings report. And if you pull up the chart here, I'm not sure if you can add the 2 standard deviations, Nathan, but if I can leave folks with something to think about with 2 sigma trading, which is kind of the core trading of what I do. There's this concept of reversion to the mean, and one thing that I'd like to leave you with is this idea that you can do a Bollinger Band around any stock, and you can do it for Microsoft. The Bollinger Bands, two standard deviations above the mean, two standard deviations below the mean, are telling you that 95% of the time a stock is going to be trading between those bands. And so while I don't necessarily expect Microsoft to revert to the mean, there is this concept after a big jump like this of back and fill. And back and fill is a very real phenomenon that layered onto this idea that we are now well above two standard deviations above the mean for Microsoft gives Nathan mentioned pot odds, and I'm a huge believer in stacking probabilities in my favor when I trade. And so the odds are heavily in your favor for Microsoft to do some backfilling here, at a minimum back down to $400 a share, and perhaps down to the mean, which is even lower at $380 a share. So the idea that I'm going to leave everybody with is just an idea, very simply put a naked put on. Nathan does the spreads way better than I do. A put spread would be something interesting to me, but I'd even be fine with a naked put spread here on Microsoft.
Yeah, and I was looking. I mean, the expected move on Microsoft has shrunk quite a bit, obviously, since earnings. So there's some pretty good ROI. If we get even a couple percent move, it's not like the pre-earnings move where you got a lot of meat on the bone there for Microsoft. If you like that idea, I mean, kind of scroll back here. Microsoft has had a tough time. I mean, you kind of forget that going back, its highs were all the way back here. They weren't February highs like some of the other stocks that we talked about today. So, and I'm sure, I mean, I haven't looked at Microsoft in a little while, but I'm sure if you wanted to be technical, this trend line is pretty darn close to the right ballpark of where that earnings move went up to. So definitely an interesting one. I'm obviously not someone who's bearish in general, but I've been talking lately about needing a couple hedges, and not getting too flipped to the optimistic side of the equation, because that's kind of the easiest thing for me to do, is to get too bullish too quick, which I'm sure is true for other traders. And so two of the trades that I've done, JD, is I've done XLK puts, and I'm thrilled when they lose, because when technology rips, pretty much most of everything else I do is going to be in a winning position. XLK puts is one, but this is another one that you could kind of put in that equation of, listen, if Microsoft comes down and reverts, it doesn't mean that everything else is crashing with it. So you can win on both sides. But if it rips, well, it's probably a pretty good sign that the rest of your portfolio is going up too. So it's kind of one of those, what I would call a hybrid hedge. It's not an automatic losing equation if it moves up, but there's a chance you can win on both sides. And so those are a couple of the trades that I've been trying to stack on, just give myself a little bit of cushion here, because I do think we've gotten pretty high pretty quick, and I don't always like to see the retail frenzy jump back into the market, because that's normally some easy pickings on some of these flushes. One thing you mentioned was this. So this is the 4 Pillars ebook that JD put together for everyone, totally free, and it's pretty meaty. You can see here as I scroll down, we've got about 14 pages of meat on the bones here that explains how to rationally, look at stocks and get an idea of what the potential is. So all you have to do here is jump into JD's Telegram. I just posted a link there. It's sitting right there for free in the Telegram channel. So just click that Jamie button right there that I posted in the chat. If you click that, it'll open up this Telegram channel. You just jump inside a Telegram, and then you'll get that ebook right there inside Telegram. So make sure you guys do that before you exit the Zoom room. JD, anything else kind of top of mind for you other than Microsoft? I mean, we are already up to kind of the 1050 bumper here, but real quick comment on the VIX. You've been basically, we don't need to go in the weeds here, but you've been basically a buyer of the underlying anytime it's low and short selling it anytime it's high. Is that, am I oversimplifying it?
Well, yeah, and without going into the details, I look, maybe just leave it at this. I did a rational trader video in late December, actually. I believe it was on New Year's Eve. And, at that time of year, it's talking about, forecasting the year ahead. And I called this video the slam dunk trade of 2025. And basically, it was simply noting that without having an opinion, because I really try not to have a political opinion whatsoever. I love the sport of politics. I was a political science major, but from a trading perspective, you really you can learn a lot. And what I learned from Trump version 1.0 is that just behavioral wise, it's chaotic, right? If one word can describe Trump to me, it would be chaos. And how is chaos expressed in the market? It's expressed via volatility.
Yeah.
So I knew back in November after the election, I've been licking my chops on the fact that the market really didn't recognize this as much as maybe it should have. And it's been better than forecasted.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a top trade, and it's been that and everything else since.
Well, let me just say, first of all, I cannot believe I'm on a call with two poli sci majors at the same time. Never did I imagine this is how my career would go. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right,
Bless.
and I think the the thing that can happen. So kind of like one of the secret sauces of volatility is when you get really bullish moves, it naturally brings down volatility artificially, which is not real because volatility doesn't actually always come down in bullish cycles. So when we got that big inauguration push, I was thinking the same thing. And then I went back and watched your video. You obviously called it, very early in that process. You had this big bullish move on the inauguration, which brought the VIX down because the bullishness will do that on the precipice of a very, potentially chaotic administration. So it's kind of like a perfect storm there with what happened in January, and obviously you've been playing that quite aggressively. So yeah, people, if you guys tune in the Telegram, he'll also probably give you some of those volatility insights and what he's doing there, which are always good stuff because even when you don't have an idea of what stocks to trade or how things are going to play out, you could always just play the underlying volatility in kind of a very open-ended, not making an opinion, not making a directional plot, and just kind of literally trade the volatility itself as a different basket of opportunities. So I think that's very worthwhile. And personally, I think the volatility will come down, but then I think we'll have lots of spikes over the next 2, 3, 4 years along the way. So it's gonna be something that you want to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's not just 2025, Nathan. It's going to be a 4-year phenomenon.
Yeah, yeah. So take advantage of that. Okay, couple other housekeeping things. First one, make sure you stay on because I believe, Deanna can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we have one more opportunity for auto strike today directly in opening playbook. Is that correct?
That is completely correct.
Okay, so if you guys stay on, you don't have to go anywhere. You just stay in this room. There's one more chance. Graham and Chuck did it live from Hawaii yesterday. Graham went to Hawaii, got the scoop. He didn't invite me to Hawaii, so I'm here on opening playbook with you guys. But there's one more chance for auto strike, which if you guys haven't seen is unbelievable, and has also already had a whole big string of winners. So make sure you stay tuned. That's going to stream directly in this room. Number 2, roundtable with Steven tomorrow, 10 a.m. Steven, any 30-second blip for that to keep in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have Alex, Lance, and Chris there, and I think it's going to be a really valuable session. There's so much coming up, including we haven't even talked about today, a Fed meeting on Wednesday, which will be a lightning rod one way or the other. So we're going to help you get prepared for the month ahead. I'm sure there will be some great trade ideas, and I think Lance will be sharing his really ultra successful 4 p.m. payout strategy as well. So a lot to dig into.
All right, sweet. You guys should get a link for that. Steven, if you already have a sign up link, feel free to post that in the chat as well. We're loaded them up with the links. Uh, Next thing on my housekeeping list, I am going to shamelessly ask you guys to give me some feedback on our trading. I really, I've been wanting to hear how everyone's doing. I've gotten obviously a handful of you, and I really appreciate it, but I'd love to hear from the rest of you. So I'll have Jared send out a request for that if you guys don't mind taking a minute, but you can also just email me right now. Let me know what's going on, how you're doing. I always appreciate that. So that's the next thing. Geez, a lot to cover. Also on Monday, I've got a pretty big prediction summit coming up. So Monday, me and Roger are going live. I've got basically 5 pretty bold predictions that I think. I'm not a big prediction type of guy, to be honest. Most of the way I trade is actually not making big predictions. But I've got a couple that I'm feeling pretty good about. And I'm going to give those to you Monday live with Roger. He's got a couple as well. So that's Monday. Make sure you're there for that. And then a little bit further down the road, you guys are going to hear what those green diamonds are all about. And I think it's going to blow you away. I mean, hopefully you guys know me well enough to know by now, I don't say things like this is really different. This is really unique. This is really not what you would expect lightly. I'm not someone who says everything is the cool new thing that's going to change the way you look at the markets. But I went out of my way to bring JD onto the team specifically because of the background of what's going on here. And I want to show it to you guys. And so that's a couple weeks away. I don't know exactly when our quote unquote reveal of all the details will be, but you guys will be, kept very much in the loop. JD's going to join me for another session next week, by the way, on Opening Playbook. We'll dive a little bit deeper into some stuff. So all that good stuff is coming. Lots of housekeeping items. We're busy as we get into May here. But I hope you guys join me, join Steven, join the team for everything. But the most immediate thing is just to hang tight for Auto Strike streaming directly in here. I think you get one last chance, if I understand correctly, to jump on. But thanks, JD. Thanks, Steven, for being on. I used more of your time today than I had planned, but appreciate both of you and look forward to seeing all of you Monday. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Nathan.
Profits and performance shown today are not typical. You may lose money. We all know this, guys. The trades expressed are based on real-time signals from Auto Strike and trades that were taken in real time. So it's not a back test, nothing like that. This is real application here. Now, obviously, no one can guarantee future results. We're not genies. What you're going to see today are some of the best examples over the last few months. Now, there were bigger winners, there were smaller winners, and of course, there were losers too. But since Auto Strike is a tool for traders and not a trading service, the profits and performance will vary among users. So trade at your own risk, and you can go to the TradeWinds homepage if you want more information on that. Now, Chuck is going to be joining us here in just a moment. But first, let me just restate this, guys. There's going to be winners. There's going to be losers. The whole purpose of our research is to give you guys an edge. Our goal is to help you build that account over time. It's not going to be 100% win rate, but as you'll see today, it can have a very, very high likelihood of working out. But never go all in on any single position. You guys know this. Be smart with your investments. Now, my name is Graham Lindman, and I'm the senior options expert here at the Prosperity Pub. And before we get started, I have a quick question for you. Of the 63,192,780 options trading across all of the exchanges right now, 63 million of them, which ones give you the most attractive income opportunities? That's a pretty tough question to answer, right? I didn't even know there's 63 million out there until I did some research, pulled up, I said, holy cow, there are a lot of options to choose from. In fact, I'd argue that there hasn't been a way to answer that question since the inception of the options market. But that's until right now. Because in the next few minutes, my special guest and I will be unlocking a new trading breakthrough that we call Auto Strike. It's a next generation smart algo that automatically scans, selects, and sends you high probability options trade right to your computer or your phone. Now, what makes these automated signals so unique and so much better than most trading methods out there is that this particular income style of trade it's selecting is specifically designed to help us target extra cash in all sorts of market scenarios. I really mean that. It's great when stocks are roaring higher. It's even great when they're flat. And it even works when a stock falls as much as 10% plus in a few weeks. And boy, have we seen that happen lately. That's why this is so amazing right now. It means it doesn't really matter to us if stocks go into a full-on bear market from here or if they rally on to new highs. Auto Strike is designed to only pick options that can withstand a major market storm. And that allows us to trade with a really high accuracy rate while getting maximum bang for the buck. For example, let's go back to November and see what happened. Now, for example's sake, let's say someone had 5K invested. You don't need that much, but this is just for example. And that's how much we'll be referencing with every example unless otherwise stated. Now, in November, folks were very uncertain to say the least. We had the election season, we had Fed interest rate decisions, and global conflicts increasing. Now, naturally, the S&P 500 was falling with all of that fear in the headlines. Are you seeing October drifting down into the month of November? And in the first week of November, the number of put buyers exploded to levels we haven't seen in years. People were scared. They were buying protection on their account. But of course, none of that really mattered because on November 8th, Auto Strike generated a brand new income signal on CART, did it all for you. Selected the exact options criteria, the entry price, and the profitability all on its own. And in the case of CART, thanks to Auto Strike's built-in option selection features, this stock could have fallen as much as 13%, and it still would have paid you. Now, funny enough, in this example, the stock actually did take a big tumble that month, like a lot of stocks did, falling just north of 10% on the shares. Now, most folks trading directionally would have been wiped out. We'll call it $5,000 in losses on the options for most people. But with Auto Strike, because it does it all automatically for you and selects these great paying options, folks could have walked away unscathed with an extra $1,154 sitting in the account. Pretty impressive, right? Then anyone could have done it again on the next signal. On November 13th, when Auto Strike generated a new income opportunity on NVIDIA, all done for you. And just like in the last example, with all of the market volatility, NVIDIA was hit pretty hard too, taking an 8.5% nosedive over the next few weeks. Now, most folks trading NVIDIA were probably looking at a big, fat, account sinking loser. No good. But with Auto Strike, it all changes because it handpicks the options for you. Anyone could have pocketed a $1,077 payday during that same time. Now, that's $1,000 in profit during one of the worst times to invest in the stock. That's obviously some really powerful stuff. Now, before you start guessing on what today's opportunity is all about, let me just assure you, Auto Strike is not some sort of short trading indicator that gets you to load up on puts, hoping for another big crash. We're not short trading here. It's not looking for expensive strangle or straddle options combinations that rely on stocks to constantly move in order to pay. That works good in sometimes, but not all market conditions. And unlike most bullish trading strategies, which have been getting decimated in the recent market drop, Auto Strike was specifically programmed to find the exact options that have the power to pay, regardless if stocks are moving higher, lower, or stuck for months, making it the bread and butter trade to take in all sorts of economic climates and political environments. Now, the core framework built into Auto Strike is based on a time-tested method that has dominated over the last 2 decades, with up to 96.2% accuracy on real money trading. Again, not back test, not coulda, woulda, shoulda. 96.2% accuracy on real trading. Now, that includes some trades during the dot-com crash, right? The 2000 dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, even that 2022 nasty bear market that we all remember. That's 25 years in a row without a single down year on record. But now it's even better because starting today, Auto Strike automatically filters through all of the options available, those 63 million options, filters through all of them to handpick the best income opportunities for you. All automated, all in one place. With each automatic alert, including everything you need to trade on the go. It gives you the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, and the full profitability schedule laid out for you. For example, let's take a look at what happened in December. Now, keep in mind, in December, inflation was ramping back up, and the Fed was completely changing their course on rate cuts. And that caused the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow to take one of their worst tumbles of the whole entire year. However, with Auto Strike in your pocket, none of that really mattered. On December 9th, folks could have been out for a morning bicycle ride, checked in at any point during the day to catch the newest income trade on Meta. Again, the options criteria already generated for you. The system does everything for you. And then you could have taken about 2 minutes to set the trade. That's all you needed to do. And in this case, Meta could have gone to the moon. It could have moved sideways, or it could have fallen 10% or more and still paid big. Sure enough, Meta chopped around from there, yet anyone following along could have caught a $1,635 payday, all done for you. Then a few days later, you could have done it again. December 19th, maybe you were out enjoying a round of tennis with friends, and after the match wrapped up, caught the new income opportunity, this one on AVGO, automatically populated with options criteria included. Once again, it didn't matter if AVGO soared to new highs, went nowhere fast, or fell more than 10% over the coming weeks. This time, the stock actually did take a nosedive. There you see the charts, not pretty. But again, that didn't matter one bit. Folks falling out of strike could have seen a $1,236 payday. And with auto strike, we get these types of automated opportunities over and over again. For example, like the very next one, just one day after the AVGO signal, maybe you're out for an afternoon hike with the family, and when everyone took a water break, pull up the phone, check in, place the new options trade automatically sent right to you. Now, this one was on Palantir with an insane 26% downside protection built in. That means this stock could have fallen from the sky and still paid. Now, with that much wiggle room, folks could have placed a trade with a lot less stress than normal. So you confirm the entry, and then phone is back in the pocket. Now, sure enough, for Palantir, the share price popped higher from there, and folks following along could have pocketed a needle-moving $1,250 on the PLTR position. So if you want to be one of the first in the world to have a behind-the-scenes look at this incredible trading breakthrough, plus access to today's newest income opportunity, all generated for you, then stay tuned. Because by the end of this broadcast, a handful of folks will be able to jump in on the next income opportunity that AutoStrike has already flagged for you to take today. And it will allow you to target what could be the next great payday. So welcome to the world premiere of the AutoStrike Options Summit. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, my name is Graham Lindman, and you might recognize me from my flagship strategy, the Perfect Apple Trade, which has reached over 100,000 people worldwide. Or maybe you've heard of my famous wrap orders, which has helped folks see doubles in their trading. Now, as much as I'd love to take all of the credit and tell you that I'm a self-made six-figure trader who figured it out all on my own, well, that would simply not be the truth. We all have mentors and coaches along the way. And my trading career really took off about half a decade ago, meeting one-on-one with one of the greatest traders of our lifetime. His name is Chuck Hughes. Now, Chuck got started in the markets back in the 1980s with just $4,600, very small amount. And in his first year of trading, the profits totaled over $69,000. And as his account grew, so did his profits, earning a whopping $391,000 in year two. And since then, Chuck's accomplished quite a lot. Some of the major feats include winning not one, not two, but 10 trading championships with some insane returns there. Audited returns as high as 220%, 300%, and even 330%. Running his live signal services for 25 years straight without a single down year, including 7 major market corrections and crashes. He's made it through them all. But not just that, he's also personally locked in north of $3.4 million in trading profits over recent years. And that's a feat that very few traders have been able to accomplish. And he's used his 40-plus years of trading experience to show countless students around the globe how to reach their trading goals. Ann here from New Jersey said, I started with $16,000, and now my account has grown to more than $62,000. Nice brokerage shot there. Rod W., retired pharmacist, says, I can now spend my time on other things I enjoy. He's up 300 to 400% in just 3 to 6 months with a nice 6-figure profit there for Rod. Or how about Dr. Ted from Indiana? He started with $100K, and in 7 months, with no extra deposits, it was more than double. It went from $100K to $200K, and then it hit $260,000. Great work there, Dr. Ted. Now, those are some of the best stories we've heard from folks following Chuck's work in the past. But today, Chuck is raising the bar. He's doing something he never thought he'd do, something he didn't think could even be possible. Today, he's cutting the ribbon on a brand new smart algo that can automatically select high-paying options and send them right to you over and over again. So, Chuck, it's great to have you on today, and I'm excited to see what you have for us. Why don't you go ahead and take it away from here? Everyone give Chuck a warm, warm welcome.
Hey, Graham, can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you great.
Okay, great to be here today, folks. And Graham, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm really excited to demonstrate to folks the power of this auto strike program today. It's an all new next generation smart algo, unlike anything I've ever seen before in my 40 years of trading. That's because each and every day it automatically scans, selects, and sends high conviction options trades right to you multiple times per week. Now, today, I'm looking for 199 diligent traders to team up with me in trading this all new breakthrough starting today. Now, of course, I want to be the first to remind folks that, like any strategy, there's bound to be winners and losers along the way. That's just the trading game. So never invest more than you can afford to lose, no matter how exciting the setup may look. Now, with that said, what you're about to see today is not some sort of back-tested or theoretical would have, could have, or should have. Every example I'll share with you today is based on real signals that AutoStrike generated in real time, based on the method that I've been personally using over the last few decades to trade with an incredible 96.2% accuracy on real money trades. So when I say this is a good thing, I really mean it. Now, with all of the uncertainty in the air, the timing for this broadcast could not be better. Over the last few weeks, we've seen traders' accounts get totally wiped out with the global trade war underway, as the stock market took the 5th fastest nosedive on record. But if you think that's bad, get this. Even with the big market drop that we've just had, stocks are still more overvalued than they have ever been. The last time we saw stocks priced at these levels was the 2000s dot-com bubble. Now, here's what came next, a multi-year bear market and a 0% return over the next 8 years. Now, the time before that, the 1970s stagflation, again, that's very similar to today's economy with the high inflation and slow growth. And let's take a look at what happened back in the 70s. 3 major market drops and a 0% return over the next 12 years. Now, I'm old enough to say I lived through that. So I'm not a doomsday guy. I'm not telling you to sell all of your stock. But here's what I do know. Nobody wants to see this happen to their portfolio over the next decade. And nobody can afford to have their account stuck in the mud for the next decade while inflation eats away at the balance. Because even if your account isn't going down, the withdrawals and increasing cost of living can totally destroy retirement dreams. That's why it's so important that you have AutoStrike running for you right now. Because not only can AutoStrike help protect your account against quick drops like we've all experienced lately, but it can also help kick open the door to new income opportunities all on its own. Isolating high probability options that you and I would have to spend hours and hours to find, and then it's sending them right to you with the power to pay out $500, $1,000, sometimes even $1,500 with a few clicks. For example, let's take a look at what happened with CrowdStrike back in October. Now, if you weren't in love with CrowdStrike stock at the time, I wouldn't have blamed you. The company was still dealing with the fallout of one of the worst online outages in the history of the world. And the stock was trading more than 25% below its highs. Definitely not a stock that most people would have been looking to trade. However, on October 16th, none of that mattered. If you had AutoStrike working for you, automatically scanning the options market on your behalf, you would have seen the CrowdStrike entry signal automatically generated with options criteria and entry price already selected on a silver platter. No extra legwork on your end. Just copy and paste the signal if you like it. And sure enough, anyone who did just that would have seen a big smile with AutoStrike paying $1,337.
Chuck, that's a great result. But folks, we're not done just yet, because on that same exact day, AutoStrike would have actually dealt you another high conviction trade alert as well. This one on Caterpillar, the construction company. Now, of course, AutoStrike would have done the heavy lifting for you, so you didn't need to do any technical analysis, no digging through the fundamentals. There was no need to look at the options chain, nor did you have to pull up the chart at all if you didn't want to. Everything you needed to know to take this income trade would have been automatically dialed up for you by the smart algo, with the high accuracy options opportunities pre-selected for you. So you could have been out on the water, which I know Chuck loves to do, maybe headed to lunch or about to catch an afternoon show. My point is, you could have been anywhere in the world. Just confirm the trade from your phone, and that's it. Now, in the case of Caterpillar, when it all worked out, folks could have cashed in big. Another $1,314 deposited into the account. Thank you, AutoStrike, for picking that one. Now, between those two trades that hit on the same day, that could have been an extra $2,651 sitting in folks' accounts. Now, that's an extra $2,000 that could have gone towards the groceries, the mortgage, or the credit card balance without having to make any extra withdrawals from your long-term portfolio. But as great as that is, it gets even better, because that was only 2 of the 13 winning signals in the month of October. You see them there. And just look at some of these paydays. $1,353 on Netflix, $1,187 on Home Depot, and $1,546 on ServiceNow, and obviously tons more in between. In fact, when you account for all of the October trades, just $2,500 into each would have paid $8,573 in AutoStrike income. Someone twice as confident, starting with maybe twice as much, could have seen 5 figures, $17,147 in AutoStrike income just for that 1 month of October. Now, that could have been enough to cover the groceries and the mortgage and still have enough left over to splurge on tickets to your favorite football team playing for it all. And Chuck, I know you had quite the experience there. So Chuck, why don't you walk through, folks, exactly how AutoStrike works and how anyone can get it running for them today?
Well, Graham, I'd be happy to. Now, as a reminder, folks, not all trades work out. There's winners and losers along the way. That said, we've been able to take these consistent income opportunities with a very high accuracy rate, thanks to a little known phenomenon buried inside the options market. Now, when I say options, most people assume that I'm talking about buying options in hopes that a stock rallies from there. That's how most people trade options. But there's actually a big problem with trading options that way. You see, when Wall Street lists these options and sells them to folks like you and me, they bake in another factor that makes it nearly impossible to consistently win with options. Now, it's called time decay. The way time decay works is the longer you hold one of those options, the more premium your position is losing. So you can be totally right about the direction of a stock, but still lose money on the options, all because of time decay working against you. And even worse, if the stock goes lower or even stays flat, you lose everything. Now, if you're not familiar with options, don't worry. You don't need to understand all this to take advantage of AutoStrike. But I do want to walk you through it because I want you to have that light bulb moment, just like I did years ago. You see, when Wall Street lists options and sells them to you, they want those options to expire worthless. As a matter of fact, one study by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange reported that 76% of options expire worthless. And in another report, a contributing writer at the Financial Post studied options extensively. And he found that up to 90% of all options buyers actually lose money on their trades at expiration, even if they're right about the underlying move. Not very good odds there. And Wall Street intentionally designed it this way because when you lose, of course, they win. So they set you up for failure by jacking up the options prices with aggressive time decay baked into the option. That way, your wins are few and far between, letting Wall Street keep most of the profit. The point here is most investors losing money on options aren't losing because they're always getting the direction wrong, but because the options themselves are rigged with this time value. However, as I'll show you, thanks to a little known phenomenon buried deep in the options market, auto strike is able to eliminate almost all of the time decay on our trades, allowing us to get paid when the stock moves higher, lower, or stays stuck for weeks on end. And the best part, since it selects the options on its own, it will even tell us ahead of time just how low a stock could go and still pay us. Meaning we always know our odds before we ever place the trade. For example, let's take a look at what happened in January. Going into the new year, things were not looking pretty as the market momentum was starting to slow down. Meanwhile, hedge funds were dumping shares at the fastest pace in recent history. However, on January 21st, folks would have been pinged with the new income opportunity automatically generated by AutoStrike. And as always, AutoStrike would have already generated the ticker, the entry price, the exact options criteria, and just how far that stock could drop and still pay you a great return. Now, in this case, it was a 13.4% buffer. Now, you could have listened to the noise from the news and all the headlines, which are overwhelming nowadays, and you would have missed out completely as your money earned you nothing. Or folks could have taken a quick minute to set the trade on NET and then walked away. Over the next few weeks, the stock sputtered around, going nowhere fast. Now, most folks trading options would have probably coughed up at least a 50% loss due to that time decay. But thanks to AutoStrike automatically selecting options where the time decay is almost completely eliminated, you could have pocketed $1,202 during the same time.
Chuck, I'm pretty sure everyone here would love to have booked an extra $1,202 in income that week, especially with how bad inflation has been over the last few years. We've seen these headlines. It's forced retirees to head back to work. Many people have been forced to pick up second jobs, while the savings accounts have been dropping to record lows. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would personally much rather click a few buttons here than sit at a desk for an extra 20 hours a week, especially when AutoStrike is doing all the heavy lifting to find these options for me. I don't have to do anything on my own. Ones that can still pay even when a stock goes nowhere, like you showed here with the net example. So, Chuck, you have to give us more information. You mentioned that AutoStrike is selecting these options in a way that practically eliminates all the time decay that typically eats up accounts. So I'm sure some folks are wondering, is this maybe some form of a credit spread? Maybe you're selling naked puts here to capture premium?
No, we're not selling credit spreads or naked puts here or anything like that. Those can be great strategies to use for high win rates, but in my experience, you hold a lot of risk for a very little return. Now, one loser can wipe out your whole account, and that just doesn't sit well with me. Instead, I like it when high probability trades and great returns cross paths like they do here. Now, the key to these lucrative income trades is all thanks to a phenomenon hiding in the options market, specifically with deep in the money options. These are the options where the strike price is way below the current price of the stock. The options that are already very profitable. Now, most folks have no clue, but because these options are so far in the money, the time decay premiums are nearly completely eliminated, meaning we don't need to bank on a stock to make a big move or move in a short period of time to start making money. And we don't have to worry about Wall Street jacking up the price of the option well over its fair market value. That's why legendary hedge fund managers like Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn regularly use these types of options to grow their portfolios. Even Nancy Pelosi loves these deep in the money options because the winning percentage is so much better than trading the normal at the money call options. But the unfortunate truth is most folks will never touch these types of options because oftentimes they are very expensive. Not everyone feels comfortable shelling out $3,000, $4,000, sometimes even $10,000 for a single trade contract. And that's what keeps most people away from these highly profitable options. But luckily, with AutoStrike, you don't need to fork over $5,000 plus to take these trades. Thanks to a new way to twist these options into a more income-based approach, we're able to take these high probability trades with right around $500 to $750 per contract. And if that's not good enough for you, get this. Because of the way AutoStrike automatically selects the options, I believe we're actually able to get a much higher win rate than even Ackman or Icahn can with their style of trading. In fact, when AutoStrike filters through the millions of options available and then picks one to send to us, it sets up the trade in a very specific way that will pay us as long as the stock stays above our strike price. We don't have to worry about time decay. We don't have to worry about a stock drifting sideways. And we can repeatedly target $500, $1,000, sometimes even more, even if a stock tumbles hard. Now, for example, let's take a look at the very next trade that AutoStrike Smart Algo would have sent you. This one was on January 29th with Fortinet. As always, AutoStrike would have sent you the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, in this example, $388 per contract, and the break-even price, or in other words, how far a stock could fall and still pay us a handsome profit. In this case, Fortinet could have fallen as much as 15.5% over the course of the trade, and it still would have paid us. Now, to show you visually just how good that is, let's pull up a chart of that stock just so you can see how large that buffer room is for yourself. Fortinet could have gone to the moon, it could have chopped around sideways, and it could have fallen as much as 15% and still pay us north of $1,000 on that position. In this example, Fortinet actually did end up trading lower from here, but it never came close to the break-even price. And anyone following along could have captured another nice payout, and this time it was $1,443 in extra income.
Chuck, that's really amazing. And folks, it was the same story with the Howmet Aerospace trade on February 11th of this year. Again, AutoStrike would have automatically sent you the ticker. It would have generated the specific options criteria for you, the entry price to pay, and the break-even price, letting you know that HWM could have fallen as much as 11.7% and still paid. Again, let's show you how good those odds are by taking a look at the chart. HWM, it could have gone up, down, or flat, but as long as it didn't crash 11% or more, you were golden. And in this case, HWM never got anywhere near that price. And anyone who clicked a few buttons to set their trade when AutoStrike automatically generated this new income position for you could have bagged another winner, $1,225 in this case. And keep in mind that you didn't have to manually go out and source this trade for yourself. Each alert includes everything you should need to trade on the go. So no more headaches staring at confusing chart patterns, no more forcing low probability trades. AutoStrike does all the heavy lifting for you without ever breaking a sweat.
That's exactly right, Graham. And my team and I intentionally designed it that way. I never wanted to take a trade in a way that has me strapped to the desk all day long. That just doesn't fit with my lifestyle. I'd much rather spend my time with the family, hiking the beautiful mountains in California and the volcanoes in Hawaii. or checking some items off the bucket list. Now, of course, you can't just blindly pick any option to make this happen. If it was that easy, everyone would already be doing it by now. Actually, finding these types of opportunities, it's a bit of a grueling process. For starters, there's thousands of stocks out there to filter through to find a viable setup. And then on top of that, there's literally millions of options to click through. I think earlier, Graham, you mentioned 63 million. So you have to find the appropriate liquidity, premiums, and profitability to get that risk to reward that we're looking for here. Finding these trades can oftentimes feel like finding a needle in a haystack. One small mistake on the option selection and the whole opportunity is completely blown. And I've seen really smart people struggle over and over again just from making one teeny tiny mistake in their option selection. That's why I automated the whole thing, taking all of the guesswork out of it. I work relentlessly with the programmers to get the trading engine built into AutoStrike running just right, based on the same rules that I've used for decades now. But now it's able to do even more than I ever thought possible, automatically scouring through the endless options available to isolate the best income opportunities with the highest odds of working out. And that's something that no human can really do by hand. Once it runs through all of the options available, it then does a stress test on them to make sure that they can withstand a major market drop. AutoStrike will validate the signal automatically on its own, so there's no guessing on what you need to do. And when we get all the green lights, AutoStrike will send it right to you. That way, every time you check in and see the newest entry alert, you know it's a high conviction income signal that's already been sourced and vetted by AutoStrike. Then, if you like, you can simply copy and paste the options to take the trade, and your job is done. For example, like the trade on IBM, December 11th, AutoStrike flagged the new income opportunity on IBM. It would have sourced the ticker, the entry price, and the options criteria, but not just that. It also ran a stress test on the strike prices to verify the position could withstand a major market drop, where we know for a fact that we will win even if the stock goes soaring to new highs, gets stuck chopping sideways, or even takes a tumble, as long as it stays above the strike price. Multiple winning scenarios across the board. You got to love that. So folks could have taken a moment to copy the options and set up the income trade on IBM, then fired it off. And when it all worked out, $1,691 profit in IBM.
Chuck, this smart algo is next level stuff. Not only does it do all of the heavy lifting for you, searching through the countless options out there to find a needle in a haystack, but then it also verifies the resiliency of the trade before it ever sends it to you. And here's what's really cool. If it's not a winning scenario across the board, AutoStrike automatically tosses the trade out of the window. That removes the low probability trades and even the medium probability trades automatically for us. And it only generates the trades that the calculation finds to have the best chances of success, ones that show winning scenarios in every situation tested. For example, like with CBRE in November. As always, the stock and options criteria generated for you and laid out in an easy to follow alert. The entry price done for you as well, in this case, $385 per contract, and the break-even price giving us at least a 10% plus of buffer room. And the options already stress tested to work on multiple different stock scenarios, up, down, or flat, winning outcomes across the board like you mentioned. Now, had you taken just a few minutes to set the trade when AutoStrike sent you the income signal, you could have come back to $1,493 from this payday.
And Graham, we get these opportunities over and over again, like with Netflix back in August. All of the entry criteria automatically generated and sent to you by AutoStrike. Profitability schedule fully stress test and verified for a high likelihood of working out. It's a win-win-win, as I like to say. And anyone who followed along could have hit another great winner even as Netflix was stalled out. And I can show you hundreds of examples just like this, because with AutoStrike, the opportunity is virtually endless.
Well, Chuck, I have to say, this is exactly what folks need right now. Whether you believe that the markets are heading lower from here or back to all-time highs, it really doesn't matter. That's because AutoStrike has been able to take some of the worst market drops and turn them into a treasure trove of income opportunities. For example, like in July and August, I think a lot of people here remembered this, the S&P 500 was dropping into correction territory, falling more than 10%. Now, during that time, folks could have bagged not one, not two, but 10 winners with AutoStrike, including $1,266 on PanW, $1,337 on Spotify, and even $1,573 on American Express. All in all, that could have totaled up to an incredible $13,315 in extra income over that terrible time in the markets. Now, again, not all trades work out this well, but we want to demonstrate what is possible with AutoStrike. So how about the most recent crash? I saw we had some questions in the chat. How'd it work over this recent crash? Well, we've had the tariff news, global threats, slowing economy, and stocks crashing, actually crashing 20% from the highs. Now, most folks saw their accounts plummet, and a lot of folks fearing that even the regular withdrawals from the retirement account could completely dismantle their future. But with AutoStrike working for you, handpicking the options with the highest likelihood of working out, you could have pocketed some extra income to get through these tough times. Just look at the 9 trades that would have paid out in March alone. That's an extra $9,166 in income over that stretch. Not bad while the markets were falling from the sky. Now, even if you only took half of the trades, you still would have been very well off, about $4,500 for the month. And of course, this obviously works great too when markets are going up. Now, Chuck, I can't wait to get AutoStrike in the hands of the folks tuning into this broadcast right now.
Graham, me either. And I think AutoStrike is about to go on a massive run, unlike anything we've seen in years. With a big portion of this crazy market downside already baked in, I think there's more upside than downside potential over the next year. I wouldn't be shocked if AutoStrike won the next 10 trades in a row. Heck, while we can't promise any future outcomes nor protect against losses, I wouldn't be shocked if AutoStrike won the next 20 in a row. But luckily, it doesn't matter to me if stocks go soaring higher from here. That's because AutoStrike allows us to trade with a very high level of confidence, knowing that these picks are designed to pay even if stocks continue to dive lower. And today, I'd like to invite folks out there to join me in unlocking this powerful, smart algo for themselves. In fact, I'm looking for 199 diligent traders to team up with me in this all-new breakthrough today. Now, it doesn't matter if you're retired, still working a 9-to-5 job, if you're in college, or maybe if you're a full-time mom. As long as you have an internet connection, a brokerage account, and a few minutes each week, you can set up AutoStrike to automatically send you high win rate opportunities targeting $500, $1,000, and sometimes even more every day right from the palm of your hand. Today, I'd like to invite you to take one of these 199 spots and access the all-new AutoStrike. Now, for those of you who are ready to take the limited spots allowed at today's deal, let me quickly walk you through everything you can expect as a member. And then we'll post the link to join. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if spots fill up in the first 10 minutes, so be ready, folks. Now, each and every day, AutoStrike will be constantly running and searching through the options markets for you. No code or download necessary. When it finds a new income opportunity with the verified profitability schedule, it will automatically post the specific entry criteria in the online portal. Each automatic alert includes everything you need to trade on the go, with the ticker, the exact options criteria, the entry price, and full profit potential laid out for you. This smart algo is next level, sourcing through literally millions of options, doing something that no human could possibly do by hand, and then delivering you the trade on a silver platter. Now, the algo typically posts the newest entry for the day in the morning, and that entry is valid for the whole day. So as long as you can check in before the markets close, you are good to go. Now, my goal is to get 199 new traders up and running with AutoStrike at an extremely discounted price today. Hopefully get a few dozen winning trades under your belt in the next few weeks, and some powerful testimonies as well. That way, when we do bring it back to the public at a much higher price, we'll have endless stories to share of the members' success.
Chuck, I can't wait to hear from the members once they get their hands on AutoStrike today. I mean, we've already heard so many good stories from your top students in the past across your various programs. Like Jerry here from California said, using what I learned from Chuck, my investments made $136,000. It's 11 weeks there and annualizing to over 200% per year on his active investment accounts. And my trades are continuing to succeed even in this crazy market. How about Deb from Florida? Above is a screenshot of this year's gains. It's a game changer, just saying. There you see her E-Trade account up $100,000 on the year. And then there's James and Patricia, maybe one of the best stories I've ever seen. He said, we've never been as successful as we have been following Chuck and his family. After starting with about $5,900, we saw $212,000 in profits.
Well, Graham, I want to see 199 more stories just like those starting today. And if you take one of the limited membership spots available today, I want to show you how to get there even faster. Now, of course, for the 199 new members today, I'm going to immediately grant you access to the Getting Started guide my team and I just finished and posted in the members portal. This will walk you through everything you need to know to get going with AutoStrike options today. And if you need any assistance, our US-based customer support team is standing by to answer any related questions you might have. In my opinion, following along with these automated signals is no tougher than riding a bike or shooting a layup. I could even teach my granddaughter to do it, and she could get the hang of it really quick. But if you want to see the success that we've seen so far from these signals, you have to use options. Now, I know that not everyone here has used options before, and that's okay. I'm also going to include a step-by-step walkthrough on how to use options, plus how to upgrade your brokerage to make it even easier to tap into these income opportunities. Now, again, even if you're new to options, I bet after one or two trades, you can totally get the hang of it. After that, it's smooth sailing from there. Now, there's one final upgrade I want to include for today's new members, and it takes the value to a whole new level. Listen, my team and I work endlessly to get AutoStrike up and running on its own, selecting stocks and options automatically with a very high likelihood of paying out. And now that it's all polished up and running like a well-oiled machine, I've made one final tweak to it.
And folks, this is big. This is really big.
I've just finished another upgrade to AutoStrike, so now it will send you a new income signal every single day. That means each day of the week, you can check in and grab the hottest new signal right away, all vetted and verified by the system. For example, like on January 14th, 2025, with the new income trade on ISRG, you could have come back to an extra $1,208 sitting in your account. Then the next day, January 15th, on ticker CLS, this time it could have been a healthy $1,363 added to your account. And like I said, we now get these types of automated opportunities over and over again every single day. For example, like the next day, January 16th, 2025, a $1,226 opportunity on Meta. Now, of course, you don't need to take every trade if you don't want to. That said, I wanted to make sure that you always have an ample amount of income opportunities coming your way. That way, you don't have to worry if you miss a trade or take a week off for vacation. You'll always have a constant stream of income opportunities coming your way.
Chuck, this is really, really remarkable. First off, on those 3 back-to-back examples, that would have been $3,798 in income that folks could have generated after only 3 days of trades. And now you're saying that you're automatically upgrading the folks who joined today to get a new signal every single day. Now, in my opinion, that takes the value up 5x. Now, I have to admit, I've seen tools that can pick up on good stocks to buy and sell and give folks entries on that, right? But I've never seen a tool that's so powerful that it can actually pick the options for you, let alone at this incredibly high hit rate. So I have to imagine access to AutoStrike will probably cost a pretty penny. I'm thinking maybe $15,000 or at least $10,000 for a tool this powerful.
Well, Graham, I firmly believe we could probably charge double that amount and have no problem getting new members on board. But my goal here isn't to charge the new members as much as possible. It's to give them as many winning opportunities as possible. So for the first 199 folks in the door today, it's not going to be $10,000 to join. Now, bonus number 1 is half off for new members. I'm going to drop the price of your first year from $9,997 all the way down to $4,997, making it much more affordable to target these repeatable income opportunities. And then I'm going to cut the price again. Bonus number 2, the final discount for the first 199 new members in the door who take action today. I'm going to cut the already discounted price from $4,997 per year all the way down to $1,895 for instant access. And today, if you're one of those 199 folks who take action, you'll get the savings plus access to the new alerts right away. After those 199 spots fill up, this deal will no longer be available. My publisher will either increase the price or take it off the internet altogether. You do not want to miss out on this, folks, on this brand new trading breakthrough, automatically generating high conviction income trades every single day.
Folks, Chuck is right. With an offering this good and a brand new smart algo this powerful, plus the virtually endless amounts of opportunity in the thousands of dollars in savings today, these 199 spots, they're going to fly off the shelves. In fact, we had some go off the shelves while we were giving this presentation, so we're now under that number. If you're the 200th person trying to join, you're going to be too late. So don't delay, because access to AutoStrike will be first come, first serve. If you're ready to take the next step and unlock a full year of access for pennies on the dollars, then here comes that link in the chat. Raleigh just posted it. You can click that link in the chat right now, or go to tradewinds.com/199. Be one of those first 199 members in the door today. And if you want to, you can call the team at 828-318-8810. Oh, again, guys, only 199 founding members allowed at today's special price. And remember, Chuck included that automatic upgrade where you now get new trades every single day. So don't worry about taking every single one, but you don't have to sweat if you miss one or if you're on vacation for a week. A constant stream of income opportunities will be coming your way with AutoStrike. Again, lock in that discount right now by clicking that link in the chat or going to tradewinds.com/199. And we have tons of people in here today. I want to be shocked if by the time we get to the Q&A here at the end and open up the questions in the chat, if spots are already gone. Now, all of the details of your new AutoStrike membership are on the next page. When you join as one of the first 199 founding members, you will automatically save half off the retail price, plus an extra $3,000 plus in one-time savings. This is a special for the ribbon cutting event. Do not miss this rock bottom price to unlock the all-new AutoStrike Smart Algo today. I'd hate for you to have to pay more when those 199 founding member spots are gone. So click that link in the chat or give us a call to secure your founding membership discount right now. Again, if you guys join today, we still have time. You can go and enter today's new pick if you'd like to. They're posted every single day. You just check in and you get the pick with the options criteria already included.
Now, Graham, before we open up the chat and answer some questions, I have an important announcement to make. For a very limited time, I'm offering a special bonus for the most dedicated students. Once you click the link in the chat, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a special 2-year deal where you can get an extra year of AutoStrike for only $300 extra, meaning you can instantly save 85% on your second year of access by claiming that additional discount today. However, this is a very limited time offer and it will not be available for long.
Guys, click that link in the chat, tradewinds.com/199, or give us a call, 828-318-8810 to get started. Now, I'm just going to ask you guys in the chat, when you're signed up, give me a yes in the chat so we get an idea of how many of these spots are already off the board, and I know that they're going to go quick. Again, we had some go off the board while we were in the middle of the presentation. We didn't even get to this point yet, so spots are flying off the shelves. We got a yes. We got a yes, yes, yes. Lots of yeses across the board today. Let's go.
So I love picturing what AutoStrike can do for you over the next year, and I can't wait to get it into your hands. Look, I've been actively trading for over 4 decades now. I've traded through crashes, bubbles, booms, and everything in between. I've won the trophies, I hit millions in profits, gave tons away, and I even published my own book. But just like anyone at this time in their career, at some point, I'll be ready to retire and move on from the public eye. I've got more life to live, kids and grandkids to spend time with, more countries to explore, and expeditions ahead of me. My point is, I won't be doing this forever. And that's why I called my team for an all-hands-on-deck project to create AutoStrike. Not only did I want to automate my best performing trading strategy, making my life much easier than ever before, and the trades even more effective, but I also wanted to build a legacy for my family and a legacy for yours too. I wanted to build the most powerful trading tool that this world has ever seen. Something that my kids could use to target extra income from the stock market for years and years to come without the pain of trial and error. And something they could pass on to their kids too. And what would be better to pass on than a fully automated trading engine that scans, selects, and sends high conviction options trades right to your computer or phone each and every day. That's why today I want to offer you the same chance to build a legacy for your loved ones too. Graham, why don't we walk them through this final must-have bonus?
Chuck, I would be loved to. And guys, this is really, really important. Folks, once you take one of the 199 spots available today and click that button to submit to your membership, do not exit that next page. Don't refresh. Don't hit the back button. That's because on that next page, you're going to get a very special invite to upgrade your subscription to Legacy Lifetime Access. And there's a few implications with this. First off, you're going to save thousands of dollars on fees. You see, at the current annual cost, after only 5 years of using AutoStrike, you'll be close to $10,000 in membership fees. However, when you upgrade to Legacy Lifetime status today, it's not going to run you anything near that. In fact, it won't even be half of that cost. Now, please note that with this one-time charge today, you'll never have to pay a renewal fee again, no maintenance charges, no hidden fees. Just a one-time payment, and you can gain unfiltered access to AutoStrike for years and years to come. But that's only just the beginning, because as a Legacy Lifetime member, you will also get upgraded access to share your login information with up to 5 family members or friends, and they too can enjoy the lifetime access of AutoStrike. Remember, Chuck built AutoStrike to build a legacy for his kids and his grandkids too. Now, this is your opportunity to do the same thing and build a legacy for your loved ones. So today, you can lock them in for a lifetime access for them so that they can learn AutoStrike to find new income opportunities for them in the future. Now, in my opinion, this is a must-have upgrade for anyone who would love to help their kids or other family members help level up in the stock market and hopefully in their financial future as well. However, this is really important. We can only guarantee 50 Legacy Lifetime spots a day. Once we hit that number, it's up to the publisher on what to do next with the lifetime price. So the question is, are you ready to leave a lifetime legacy? Will you be one of the first in the door today to upgrade to lifetime legacy access? Well, you have to start by claiming your founding membership first, and then you can upgrade from there on the next page. Guys, click that link in the chat to get started, or go to tradewinds.com/199. Or if you'd like to speak with the person, I saw we had some chats in here. So people may be having trouble with the buying link. We may have so many people already ordering that we're getting close to that limit. If you're having trouble with your order, give us a call, 828-318-8810. They'll get you taken care of. And remember, you'll want to join right now because that newest trade is in the members portal for you, already automatically generated by AutoStrike. Now, remember the opportunity today. AutoStrike is the only trading tool that I know of that's able to automatically pick options designed to pay regardless if stocks go higher, they go flat, or lower. And it does it without you needing to lift a finger. If it's not a winning scenario across the board, AutoStrike automatically tosses out the window. That removes the low probability and even the medium probability trades for you. We only want the ones with the best chances of success. The ones that show winning scenarios in every situation tested, the win-win-wins across the board. For example, like with CBRE in November, AutoStrike selected the stock and the options criteria generated for you in an easy-to-follow alert. In this case, it was $385 per contract and a break-even price, giving us 10% plus of buffer room. And the options were already stress tested to work on multiple different stock scenarios, whether it went up, down, or flat, winning outcomes across the board. Now, had you taken a few minutes to set the trade when AutoStrike sent you the income signal, you could have come back to $1,493 from that income position. Or like with Netflix in August, that was a terrible time to be invested in stocks, but AutoStrike is already filtering the best income opportunities for you. So it sent the trade alert details. It sent the profitability schedule, fully stress tested and verified for a high likelihood of working out. It's a win-win-win, as we like to say. And anyone who followed along could have hit another great winner, even as Netflix was stalled out from there. So don't miss on today's new income alerts, guys. Click that link in the chat to get started. And again, don't forget, you're getting upgraded to a new entry alert every day. And once you take your membership, if you're one of the first 199 in the door today on that next page, you can upgrade to Legacy Lifetime Access. That's a small group of people who are going to be able to get the lifetime access for a one-time payment plus multi-access login criteria.
Now, Graham, I firmly believe that this is exactly what everyone needs right now. Whether you believe the markets are heading lower from here or back to all-time highs, all of that really doesn't matter. That's because AutoStrike has been able to take some of the worst market drops and turn them into a treasure trove of income opportunities. For example, back in July and August, when the S&P was heading into correction territory, it was dropping 10%, folks could have bagged not one, not two, but 10 winners with AutoStrike, including $1,371 on Carvana, $1,258 on Costco, and $1,201 on XBI. And all in all, that could have totaled up to an incredible $13,315 in extra income, all while the market was dropping. Or how about the most recent crash, tariff news, global threats, slowing economy, and stocks crashing actually more than 20% at one point? Most folks saw their accounts plummet. A lot of folks fearing that even irregular withdrawals from their retirement account could completely dismantle their future. But with AutoStrike working for you, handpicking the options with the highest likelihood of working out, you could have pocketed some extra income to get you through these tough times. Just look at the 9 trades that would have paid out in March alone. That's an extra $9,166 in income over that stretch. Now, even if you only took half of those trades, you would still be very well off. And of course, it obviously works great too when markets are going up. AutoStrike is the pinnacle of my 40-year trading career. All automated, all in one place. And if there's only one trading tool or program you have, I highly suggest you make it this one.
Guys, click that link to get started today with AutoStrike. And I've already seen in the chat, tons and tons of people have already taken these spots. I'm sure they're filling up quickly. Just to clarify, guys, you don't have to go type in a ticker. You don't have to go find your own stock to trade here. AutoStrike automatically filters through all the stocks out there, all the options out there, and finds a needle in a haystack type of opportunity, one that most people will overlook and never see. But it finds it and it dials it all up for you. It stress tests the options to prove that it works in all sorts of market climates, and then you can just take the trade if you like. So click that link in the chat to get started. And some of you guys are saying you're having issues with your orders. Give us a call, guys. 828-318-8810. I have to imagine we're getting so many hits on the membership checkout page that the page may be running a bit slow. So if that's you, give us a call and we will honor your spot. Now, Chuck, really quick before we open the chat, and we're going to answer your guys' questions here in the chat, so don't go anywhere. Let me answer a few common questions or ask you some. Chuck, do I need to install something to use AutoStrike?
No, there's no code or downloads or install needed. Once you take one of the limited memberships today, you will be sent a secure username and password to the new members portal, where you can easily access today's new entry right from your computer, tablet, or cell phone anywhere in the world. So there is no download. You just need to log on to the website to get the trades.
That's awesome. So you guys can access it from anywhere in the world. Now, if I'm a beginner, is AutoStrike a good fit for me?
Absolutely. AutoStrike gives you a big edge with clear and structured entry alerts with everything you should need to know to set up trades. If I were to start my trading career over from scratch today, joining AutoStrike is the first thing that I would do.
I would too, because it just does everything for you and you can really get started even if you're just brand new. Now, does AutoStrike give me both the stock ticker and the exact options criteria for placing a trade, or do I have to go find the options myself?
Yes, this smart algo is the first of its kind where it's able to source the exact options to own for optimal results. There's no extra legwork on your end, and it gives you the profit amount if you want to set an exit target early, and I'll cover this in the
perfect. So it'll tell you the
trainings.
profitability before time. If you want to hold it for that full profit, you can. If you guys want to exit early for a partial profit along the way, Chuck's going to teach you exactly how to do that. Now, how much does the average trade cost?
Well, on average, the usual entry cost is about $5 or $500 per contract, or in other words, $500 per trade. Now, with all that said, it could range with some as low as $300 and others that are $700 plus. Now, the good news is that there is no shortage of entries. So if you don't like one or two and you think it's too expensive, you can just totally pass on the trade.
That's perfect. And remember, guys, it's giving you a new one every single day. So it's not like you have to take everyone. If you're starting out with a smaller account, which is totally perfect for this, you can just take the cheaper entries. Now, do I need a huge account to trade this?
Nope, this isn't day trading, so you don't have to worry about that $25,000 rule. And unlike deep in the money options that could run you as much as $5,000 to $10,000 per position, these trades are only about 1/10 of that cost, so you don't need a big account.
Awesome. Now, what if I have questions about how to get started with Auto Strike?
Well, I'm going to immediately grant you access to the Getting Started guide my team and I just finished and posted in the members portal. This will walk you through everything you need to know to get going with the Auto Strike options today.
That's awesome. And you are going to have master classes too, right, Chuck?
Yes, absolutely. This Thursday, we're going to have a master class for our new members.
Awesome. So you guys can join Chuck live, ask him any question you have. Now, of course, that's for the members only. It's not going to be for everyone. It's going to be for the first 199 members here.
And if you need any assistance, our US-based customer support team is standing by to answer any questions you might have. If for some reason you don't love Auto Strike, you'll have 7 days to call our team, and in the rare chance we cannot help you out, we'll refund you every penny of your membership cost, and it's just that easy.
Perfect. So you have their back. Now, what about exits, Chuck?
Well, Auto Strike also gives you the potential profit from the trade, so you always know the exit you can shoot for.
And of course, guys, in the master classes, he's going to show you how you can set an early profit target if you'd like to just set it and forget it. I know some of you guys really like that. He's got you covered there. Now, Chuck, is there anything else we should know?
Well, actually, Graham, I do have another free bonus for the first 199 members in the door today. This is a surprise bonus.
Ooh, interesting.
Originally, my team wanted me to program Auto Strike to only give you one income signal per day. That way we could sell a more elite version of it down the road with 2 to 3 entries per day and charge 2 to 3 times as much. Well, we may still do that, and the price would likely be $4,995 per year, and I might say worth every penny. But if you take one of the 199 spots today, you're going to get grandfathered into the elite version of the Auto Strike for free. Meaning, starting today, you can get up to 3 income signals sent to you, options criteria included, from Auto Strike each day. And if we launch the $4,995 version in the future, you won't have to pay an extra penny. You'll be grandfathered in.
That is amazing, guys. And that's all the more reason to take one of the legacy lifetime spots today. So your subscription timer doesn't run out and you miss out on this grandfathered access. Guys, click that link in the chat right now to sign up for Auto Strike. We'll get an update here from the team in just a moment, but I know that we have tons of spots off the board. And again, there's new trades waiting for you today. Now let's pop into the chat, Chuck, and answer some questions for folks here in the room. And again, I'm going to leave this slide up so you can always see the link to join or who to call. Awesome. Now, how did they receive the alert? Guys, the alert will be posted for you each and every morning in the portal. It's automatically generated by Auto Strike every morning, so you can check in the morning, you can check in at lunch, you can check in the afternoon. It will be posted for you. What percent are winning trades and what percent are losing trades? Well, Ron, this is a software that picks all of the options for you. Chuck has personally been able to take them with a very, very high win rate. But of course, that'll be up to you and which ones you take or which ones you pass on. The phone line seems to have a very long wait. Maybe leave our name and email to get in as one of the 195. Good question, Sandra. Guys, post your name and email if you want to save your spot. Now, of course, I can't actually promise that we're going to have spots left by the end of this. I apologize. I understand that the phone team is booked. But guys, if you are wanting to get in right now, just click that link in the chat and sign yourself up right now while the phone team is still working through all the calls. Barbara's on hold too. Yeah, guys, I apologize for the long line on the phones. We're working through them all right now. Lewis doesn't have a guarantee yet. Chuck's giving you 7 days to try it out. And if after that you don't love it, you can call in. But I think you guys are going to love it when you see that this thing is doing everything for you. I mean, how many of you guys have seen a tool that can pick options for you? And it's not just blindly picking options based on tickers you might see or someone else tells you about. No, this is going through vetting the stock. And then there's going to be a couple stocks that pass that first vetting process. And then it's going to sort through all the different options of each of those and find the ones with the best odds of working out. Today's trade, Salio, today's trade will be in the members area once you get your login. When will we get the login? Guys, we have a ton of people joining right now. I'm sure the system is processing everything at the moment. Give it 5-10 minutes for that login to hit your email, and then you'll be able to see today's newest entry. Oh, there you go. Robert's in. He's already made 2 trades today. I love it, Robert. Good stuff. No, you don't need to download Telegram, guys. This is all, it's on an internet browser, so you can access it from your phone, computer, laptop. You can be anywhere in the world. You could be on an airplane and go just log in and see the newest trade alert from the day. Robert, are the examples using one contract or multiple contracts? It was based on just a fixed starting stake. Now, let me just go back here and I'll just show you guys, because like Chuck said, you know, they're going to be different entry prices, but $393, that's very cheap. This one's $1,600. Maybe you pass on Netflix and take the next one, $700, $388. So you guys can see the various different entry prices there. All in all, though, with all those trades, it looks really, really, really good. Do you need to connect a broker so the trades are automated? Paulo, you can use any brokerage you prefer. You just log into the portal. It'll give you the exact options to take, and then you can just copy and paste them over to your brokerage account. David, I'm not so sure on that. Solo's an awesome. Okay, Beth, we will have you taken care of. She said that she had an issue with the page, but it said it went through on her credit card. Beth, give us a call, and they might be able to walk you through. And again, I say give us a call, but I heard that the team is totally swamped with calls right now. Chuck, do you know what the average hold time is here?
Average hold time is 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes more, sometimes
awesome. And that's
less.
just the secret sauce, guys, behind this high win rate, high probability trade. RV Hannings, no one is answering my question about the cost of lifetime. I'm not exactly sure what it's at. Raleigh, do you mind jumping in here and giving us some feedback on the lifetime? I actually am not sure exactly what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you sign up for the 1-year program for $18.95, which Chuck is an amazing price, another page will pop up and give you the option to upgrade to lifetime. Now the upsell price is $2,995. So you add $29.95 to $18.95, and you will have this program for lifetime. And that means, once again, you'll never pay another penny for this system. So it's tremendous cost savings for you, in particular using it over time. But what's really amazing to me is that Chuck is granting you 5 additional licenses. So once you get the lifetime, you can share it with a son, a daughter, your wife, a friend, you know, up to 5 different licenses, and each one of those is lifetime. And Chuck, that's just so generous of you to do that, but I know you said that's how you want to get this in the hands of as many people as possible.
Yes, this is my legacy, Raleigh.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, folks, whether you go with the 1-year program or the 2-year program or the lifetime program, it's all backed by a 7-day money-back guarantee. There's an awful lot of things that you can do with this program in 7 days. Chuck's convinced you're going to love it. But for whatever reason, if you're not satisfied with it, he and his team will refund every penny of your investment, regardless of which selection that you make.
Awesome. Ray, if you're having an issue on the page, give the team a call. Does anyone know, are the phones able to, are you still on hold, or are they getting through now? Looks like Glenn is in. Jeffson, John, Anthony, Barbara, Miranda, Fred, Hector, Anthony. Awesome. Guys, there are just tons and tons of people joining today. Very exciting. Again, some of you guys have already taken the trades. Awesome. Thank you, David. Rich says he's been on hold for over 20 minutes. Hopefully, Rich, were you able to click the link in the chat and get started there? John's still on hold. Yes, Dan. Shannon's asking what time of day do the alerts come out? They're normally posted sometime in the morning. Chuck, do you know the exact time, roughly, what they'll be posted in the morning from AutoStrike? Obviously, you don't want to send it to you right at 9:30 because so much can change at the market open.
Yes, yeah. It's It's usually within an hour or two of the market open.
Gotcha. Awesome. We're getting some people saying they're getting errors on the page.
Yeah, I just, for whatever it's worth, I just clicked on the link and it went right through for me, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, James. Yeah, interesting. Well, guys, we I promise we'll get you taken care of. We want to make sure everyone here who is taking action today gets the spot honored as well.
Yeah. And if you're unsure, folks, once again, don't get frustrated. Just leave your name and your phone number here with us, and we'll have, Chuck's customer service team is going to give you a call, and we'll make sure that we answer your questions and we'll process your order over the phone. So I know a lot of people, Chuck, are just concerned that they're going to miss out on the special pricing. So I think if they get their name and their phone number in here, we'll get that right over to the sales team so it can be
Yeah,
managed.
and Raleigh, I see here you posted in the chat here the pricing structure for the 1 year, the upsell to lifetime, the 2 year, and then the 7-day money back guarantee. So any questions on the pricing, folks, just look at Raleigh's post there. He has all the details.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Raleigh, well, why don't you catch us up to speed? I know we had a lot of chats here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were I think, so there were some questions there, Chuck, once again, as to what type of option, what level options do people need to have to be able to take advantage of this, Chuck? Some people were wondering, are these sophisticated things? Are these naked options? Are these credit spreads? Is it level 1, level 2, that type of a thing?
Yes, it's usually level 2 or 3. These are not naked puts, and they're not credit spreads.
Okay. Very, very straightforward there. And folks, once again, just want to remind everybody that this is the first ever time that Chuck is being made this available. So this is a premier event, which is exciting from that standpoint, but it's not like it just came out of the out of the workshop yesterday. As I mentioned in my introduction, this is 40 years in the making. As Chuck said, this is his legacy. 40 years of trading have culminated in this package, this automated system that that now has the capability to generate 2 to 3 trades per day. And Chuck, I know there's a massive amount of work that went into programming this. And of course, these are real time. So, I mean, you're accessing data and information in real time. You're crunching it. You're running it through a series of filters, and your system, your algo, is only presenting those that meet your very strict criteria.
Yes, and the trade selection process that the algo uses, of course, is the trade selection process I've been using for decades for this option strategy. So I've been trading this in real time for a long time, have great success with this. So we built this algo to go out and look at millions of options and apply our trade selection process that I've been using in real time for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like this in the trading markets, in the options markets. I've never seen an automated system like this that scans literally millions of options to find the trade that meets our criteria.
That meets your criteria. And I know, Graham, you had mentioned, we all know systems out there that have the ability to potentially identify stocks, that are worth looking into. But so many people are wondering, well, what's the option that I should be playing on that? And Chuck, you provide not only the underlying stock, but you're actually showing precisely what the option is. And everything is, you're sharing everything that somebody needs to know to decide if that's a trade that they want to take.
Yes, that's exactly why I designed this program, to search those millions of options and give you the exact strike price and expiration date that meets our criteria for selecting options trades.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's funny that this is happening right now. This morning on my morning show, we were doing a trade on the stock ED, which I didn't trade it before. And so we did all this work to find a stock, one that we really liked. And then I pulled the options and they were just no good. So that's frustrating. We did another stock I did all the work vetting it, looking for it, and I pulled up the options. There's no good. What's cool about Auto Strike is it's going to do all that for you. So you don't have to worry about going and doing stock selection and making sure the options are liquid. No, it's already going through that automatically for you, saving you lots of time and headaches, and then sending it for you teed up on a silver platter.
Sure. And Chuck, I think you also mentioned, and Gray, and you harped on it as well, this is a strategy that has survived the test of time. This is not something that's just enjoying results in these crazy volatile markets that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. As you said, Chuck, this has been your selection process going back over 40 years. So it has survived the test of time.
Yes, it has. And I've traded through bear markets, flat markets, and everything in between using this strategy. That's why I like the ability of this strategy to profit even when the stock goes down. That's key. That can lead to a higher percentage of winning trades and give you that edge that you need to succeed in trading options.
Sure. So Chuck, some people also, another question that was being asked, appreciating that this is a very, very solid strategy, but not every trade's going to be a winner. In those circumstances, when the trade goes against you, do you manage your exit, or are you basically forfeiting your investment on that particular trade and you move to the next one?
No, we manage the trade, and we're going to explain that trade management in detail in the upcoming masterclass.
Ah, that's great. Awesome. So folks, once again, that's kind of key, because a number of us, this is not, Chuck, you had talked about how most people trade the markets, buying a call, buying a put, heavy directional trade, things of that nature. And you shared with everybody what's potentially wrong with that is that the market's almost rigged against you. And so your strategy here, and folks, you have to kind of go back to the foundational components that Chuck talked about. When you're picking something that's deep in the money, with a relatively long expiration, you're going to do well as long as the price doesn't drop below that strike. And Chuck, once again, I know you well enough to know that you enjoy making money, but you also keep a pretty sharp eye on what the risk is, the risk to reward of your strategies. And so, once again, folks, you need to have level 2 or level 3 to place this particular trade, but it really does it's an edge. Chuck, pure and simple, this is an edge.
Yes, yep. And the nice thing about it, Raleigh, is that the profit potential and the risk ahead of time before you even take the trade. So if you see a trade you don't like, you can simply just pass on that, knowing that there's going to be plenty of more opportunities down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, people, it looks like the page is working good. We just tested it on our end. Rich just said he finally got through, so he's in for life. Awesome, Rich.
Fantastic, guys. Yeah. Terrific. Wow, my gosh, awful lot of people here still with us here at this point in time, and this is terrific. And I'm not surprised, Chuck. I'm not. We do have some. We do have some new traders here, and we refer to them affectionately as newbies, but they're wondering, Chuck, is this something that a new person, definition being, has never really placed a stock trade or an option trade? Is this something for them, or is this a bit too advanced?
Well, we give exact instructions on how to enter the trade.
Right.
And if members have any questions about that, we're going to cover that in detail in the upcoming masterclass on Thursday.
Awesome.
Right. And you also include the options training as part of the program here, which is something that people can get into. I guess my editorial comment would be this, folks. If you are absolutely just brand new to trading, if that's stock trading, there's two things, in my opinion, that you need to do. Number one, align yourself with an appropriate mentor. And I can't think of anybody much better than Chuck as your mentor. And secondly, you're investing in a system that's doing really the hardest part of the job, which is identifying the high probability trade. And then it's serving it up to you with everything that you need to know to place the trade. So if you're brand new to trading, your focus then is just going to be learning the mechanics of how you enter that trade into your broker platform. That's what you have to focus on. Because once again, Chuck's system is giving you the trade, everything that you need to do. Open up a paper trading account, prove to yourself that you know how to enter those options, get in and out of them. And once you're absolutely comfortable, start small. And to that point, Chuck, I know that all of your examples were based on 5K, but you're not suggesting to people here that you must have 5K on every trade. I think you said a single option would be around 500 on average. Is that correct?
Yeah, 500 to about $750 on average. And of course, that's going to depend mostly on the price of the underlying stock. So if you have a high price stock, obviously the option trade is going to be more expensive. So we have some higher price trades, and then we have some lower price trades also.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And guys, remember the cool thing here is that you're grandfathered into the new elite version of it as well, where you'll get more than one a day. So maybe today, I'm just going to make it up. I haven't seen it today, but maybe it's NVIDIA today and another stock, and one's trading for $1,000 in the contract, the other's at 300. Maybe you just take the one that's 300 a contract, and then you have plenty of opportunities each and every day. So it's not like you're cut off.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, exactly.
The master classes, guys, those will be recorded and posted in the members portal if for some reason you're not able to make them. Guys, if you're having issues signing up, post your name and number and email in the chat, please. It's private. It's not going to be shared with everyone, but we'll get it to our team to make sure you can get one of those 199 spots that we've opened up today.
All right, folks. So once again, I think more people are starting to get through, which is just great. And folks, once again, we do have, once we exit here, we've got your information here. We will share it with our sales team, and they'll give you a call. Let's see, I'm looking for some other, gosh, we've answered so many questions here, and it was a very comprehensive presentation. I want to make sure I don't overlook. Folks, we have so many comments here. If we didn't answer your question, if you don't mind, could you repost it? Because we literally have hundreds of comments here in the chat, and I want to make sure that we don't miss anything that was said. So if you don't mind, just repost your question.
Barbara got cut off from the call. We'll get you taken care of, Barbara. Raleigh, are you able to send the phone numbers and emails to Chuck's team? If so, I'll hook you up with that connection.
Yeah, I need that connection. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We will get you guys taken care of. Again, I apologize. I know that we had so many people joining today. It seems like we had a little bit of a lag on the phone team or on the page. We got that all squared away now. You should be good to go. If you have any issues at all, just try again right now or give us a call 828-318-8810. And again, post your name, number, and email in the chat if you had an issue and you'd like us to save one of your spots.
Chuck, some people may have not heard what you said initially, but did I hear you correctly that in most cases you issue those alerts sometime in the morning, and your recommendation would be to try to get in before the end of the closing of the market that day?
Yeah, that's a great point, Raleigh. This is not day trading. So if you're busy throughout the day, you can log on before the market close, get the trades, and put the trade in. And probably half the time, if you wait till the afternoon, you might even get a better entry price, depending on the market conditions. So you don't have to be glued to your computer. If you're busy, it's not urgent to take the trade the exact second that you receive it. This is position trading, and half the time, if you wait a little bit, you'll even get a better entry price.
Sure.
Awesome. Here's a question from Ravon, and he had an error on his purchase, and the reason for the error was this transaction has been declined. So that's just a function of your bank declining the transaction. So you probably have to contact your bank and let them know that it's okay to process your credit card.
Awesome. These weren't rollover examples, guys. These were just straight up income trades. So if you want to use one of Chuck's rollover processes to bank maybe even bigger profits, he'll teach you how to do that too. But this is just a base gain. Awesome. Barbara, I'm not sure. Did you send your email or your phone number in here? I got your email. I apologize. I'm kind of scrambling here through the chat just to make sure that the team gets
Yeah,
the
and
phone numbers.
I'll sift through it also, Graham,
Okay, cool.
to make sure that we've got everything covered too.
Awesome, awesome.
And Richfield says, I finally got through. I'm in for life. Thank you, Richfield.
Outstanding. That's great.
Thanks for your support.
That is great. Will this work in a volatile market? Mary's asking. Mary, to answer your question, actually, I should say over 20%. Do you guys remember what's happened in the markets over the last few weeks? Stocks have been crashing, crashing, crashing. Pulled out 9 winners during that stretch there, and that's just a handful of the examples there that you can see. So there, look at the exit dates. Right in the middle of March when things were ugly, 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 but still a lot of opportunity there. So it actually is designed to work in very volatile markets. In fact, like Chuck showed you earlier, because of these special options that it's selecting, it's not normal options that most people are trading. Most people completely overlook them. But with these options, because they're so far down here, so far deep in the money, they're pretty hidden from most people. Stock can even fall, go against you, it can be crazy volatile, and in this case, still pay for you. So again, the cool thing about Auto Strike, it doesn't just give you the ticker. It doesn't just give you the options. It doesn't just give you the entry price, but it also shows you how far it could fall and still pay. So in this case, HWM could have fallen 11.7%. This is a really strong stock. It's been in a beautiful trend for a very long time. It's probably not going to fall that much, and that's why the win rate's so high. We'd have to go all the way down there for it to be a loser. In this case, that didn't happen. You would have had another winner, $1,225. Remember, guys, it gives you these options that have winning scenarios across the board, whether the stock's going up, whether it's flat or falling down. We want to see wins across the board. All green lights means that we have a high probability income opportunity. In this case, $1,691. That was probably one of the better returns there. It looks really, really awesome right now. So, guys, click that link in the chat to take one of the spots. And I know that we have a lot of spots filling up right now. Actually, I just heard from the team. It looks like about half the spots are already gone, guys. So again, we're only 30 minutes in here to signing up people, and half the spots are already gone. So guys, click that link in the chat. Be sure to join today and get the newest entry signals right away.
Yeah, some more questions coming up here. Are the losers 100% or less? Typically less, because once again, Chuck and his team in the system does a pretty good job of managing the losses in the event that opportunities turn against us. But there will be losing trades, but we look to, the system and Chuck's team looks to massage that so they minimize that.
And the cool thing here, guys, too, is that like Chuck isn't actually even handpicking these. He's built the system, but this system's able to go beyond what Chuck can do, beyond what his team can do, and find very rare needle in a haystack like opportunities in the options market because it automatically scans all of the options out there. Chuck, I'm pretty quick with the computer, and I can probably scan 10 stocks options for the day, and then I'm out of time. This thing is doing all the stocks out there automatically. It's really, really sweet.
Yes, yep, that's the whole idea, Graham.
It's the Chuck bot.
It is the Chuck bot.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, the question here, are the losers 100% or less? And we will explain the stop loss rule that we have for these trades on Thursday's presentation in the live masterclass.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Well, I know Chuck still has a busy day ahead of him. I do too. I got to get back, see what's going on in the markets. It looks like stocks are popping right now.
Are they?
Up 1% across the board. Love to see it. Hopefully you guys were like some of the folks here who already signed up and got their trades on the board. You might be up a little bit already. Love to see it.
Yeah.
GR, it may be. You might think so, but that's why it works so well. It's part of the secret sauce. Based on the table, it ranges from down or up in prices. Does the return stay the same as long as the price falls within the range? Simon, yes, until you get down to the break-even level, which is way, way, way below the price of a stock. And then that number, that percentage return will change.
Mm-hmm.
And Nathan says, do we get phone and email alerts? No, Nathan, this is not an alert service. This is a dedicated website. You simply log on to the website and then you get the trades there and you can decide which trades you would like to take.
Yeah, so you know that you can just check in at any point after we said about 11 a.m., roughly speaking, and that trade will be there for you, and you can take it during that day. And if you miss a day, no worries. Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you all joining us today. We had a great crowd, and I'm sure I'm excited to see what the new members have to say and what the feedback's like so far to get started with this. Obviously, this is a next level sort of tool here that selects the options for you, does all the scanning, all the hard work, all done for you. It's really, really awesome what you've done here, Chuck, and I'm excited to hear about the new trades and how they've gone.
Yes, yeah, it's great to be here today with you, Graham, and I'm really excited about this auto strike. It's literally the pinnacle of my trading career. And we were actually able to create a program that scans through millions of options to come up with a trade that meets our trade selection criteria. So very excited about this program going forward. And Graham, I appreciate you setting up this program so that we can tell folks about it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in today. I'm sure Raleigh will be hanging around to answer some questions that you might have.
Absolutely.
I'm very, very excited for this, Chuck. Again, it's something like I've never seen before. So I can't wait to get my hands on it and see today's new trades.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, have a great day. Take care.
Thank you, Chuck.